Foundations don't get much attention once they're covered over, but they're the single most important structural decision in any build. The right foundation depends entirely on your plot's ground conditions, the size and weight of the building, and site-specific factors like slope or nearby trees. Here's a breakdown of the main foundation types used in UK construction and how to know which one suits your project. Before any foundation type is chosen, a site investigation should assess soil type, load-bearing capacity, water table depth, and any risk of ground movement. Clay soils, for example, shrink and swell with moisture changes, which affects foundation depth. Skipping this step is one of the most common, and costly, mistakes in self-build projects. A continuous strip of concrete laid in a trench beneath load-bearing walls. This is the most common foundation type for standard ground conditions and straightforward, low-rise buildings. Best for firm, stable ground with good load-bearing capacity. Typical depth, around 1 meter, though this varies with soil type and local building control requirements. Cost, generally the most economical option where ground conditions allow. Similar to strip foundations, but the trench is filled almost entirely with concrete rather than partially, reducing the amount of manual bricklaying below ground. Best for sites where labor costs or trench stability make manual below-ground brickwork impractical. Cost, uses more concrete than strip foundations, but can reduce labor time. A single reinforced concrete slab spread across the entire footprint of the building, distributing the load evenly. Best for sites with weaker or variable ground conditions, or where deep foundations would be impractical or expensive. Also common for extensions, conservatories, and lightweight structures. Cost, mid-range, but can be more economical than deep strip foundations on poor ground. Isolated concrete pads placed beneath individual structural points, such as columns, and connected by ground beams. Best for framed buildings where loads are concentrated at specific points rather than spread along walls. Common in steel or timber-framed construction, garages, and some commercial buildings. Concrete or steel piles driven or bored deep into the ground to reach stable, load-bearing strata below the surface, with a ground beam or pile cap connecting them to the structure above. Best for poor or unstable ground, sloping sites, sites near trees, root-related ground movement, or where the water table is high. Cost, typically the most expensive option, due to specialist equipment and engineering design. Also used for sites with a history of subsidence or made-up ground, previously filled or disturbed land. The right choice comes down to a proper site investigation and, in most cases, input from a structural engineer. Key factors include soil type and load-bearing capacity, presence of trees or vegetation nearby, root activity affects clay soils significantly, site slope and any history of ground movement or made-up ground, water table depth and drainage, the weight and design of the building itself. Building control will require evidence that foundation design meets building regulations, regardless of which type is used. So this isn't a decision to make without proper technical input. Getting the foundation right the first time, because foundations are irreversible once built over. Getting this stage right protects the entire project, structurally and financially. A thorough ground investigation up front costs far less than remedial work discovered later. At Mica Construction, we arrange site investigations and work with structural engineers to specify the right foundation for every plot before groundworks begin. Get in touch to discuss your site.